Provincial and federal N.D.P members were in Thunder Bay today for a discussion on environmental racism. The talks at the Prince Arthur Hotel were organized by the David Suzuki Foundation and Ontario Nature to promote Indigenous-led conservation. Corey Nordstrom reports.
The topic for discussion may not be a commonly used term, but environmental racism is something the speakers and many in the crowd say exists in Canada. It's even been shown recently in British Columbia with the Kllwetinoong protest. The term describes an environmental injustice that occurs under policy which fails to protect a certain group of people. The keynote speaker was longtime activist and New Democrat MP Romeo Saganash. With dozens of students from Dennis Franklin Cromartie High School in attendance, he was glad to see the next generation learning from him and the rest of the speakers.
I think it is important for them to hear out what people are saying, but also what the leaders are saying who are in those different parliaments and political institutions in this country. We have a role to play, they have a role to play. They'll be following us after.
Joining Saganash were his provincial N.D.P counterparts in Kllwetinoong's Saul Mamakwa, Judith Monteith Farrell of Thunder Bay Atikokan, and Kitchener's Laura May Lindo. Lindo states that many of the ongoing issues in both the province and country aren't necessarily a matter of the environment or business, but rather from deep-seated institutionalized racism.
Racism that has the most long-lasting effects are when laws and policies are put into practice that will harm some groups, racialized folks, Indigenous folks, more than others. And that's where my concern comes in.
Mamakwa has time and time again reminded his colleagues at Queen's Park about the mercury-tainted water of Big Grassy First Nation. The day's talks were exactly the types of discussion he feels are needed to conserve the land that his people have lived on for millennia.
It's really critical that the wildlife, the lands, the trees, and again, it's all connected to our people. And it's really in this case of the mercury and contamination, and that's why human beings and grassy narrows as humans, they're being impacted.
Corey Nordstrom, TVT News.